What's up, guys? It's Munkle Zunky here, and welcome to the next episode in the New Orleans Pelicans MyGm. So, we're going to be playing an old friend today. It's actually not the Houston Rockets because I lost the footage of that, so we're going to be playing the Wizards instead. And we have a really good record this season. The Pelicans are off to 25-9, which is, I believe, the best record in the NBA at the time of this current game. And the Wizards not off to such a great start. I think they're 14-23, so they've had a rough first couple games of the season and do not have the best record. But of course, this is the first team that I had a MyGm with on this channel, and so I'm very familiar with a lot of their players, especially that one, John Wall, who gets us off started with the first bucket of the game. And the Wizards are a team that's mostly built around their backcourt, two young star players in Wall and Beal. And we're going to get started off with our scoring with Chris Middleton cutting the basket. The first 2 points, I believe, were on some free throws, and I typically don't show those. But this game was just kind of an adventure because Wall was doing a lot of that, cutting the rim, finishing through contact, and he is an incredibly difficult player to guard. I, unfortunately, do not have the hand-eye coordination to guard him one-on-one user controlling the point guard, so I mostly guarded either Beal or Porter this game, and usually when I play defense, I just play defense on the point guard the entire time. And this game is one of them where I decided that probably wasn't such a good idea. But I also decided to start Robert Covington, who's going to score a bucket here. And we're off to a very sluggish start, but 2 for 8 shooting on our first 8 shots. So only about 25% there, which is not so great. But Wall would finish with the and-one mid-range jump shot, getting fouled by Drew Holiday there. That was a really nice shot by him. And the Wizards really came out and were surprisingly effective on offense this game because the Wizards are more of a defensive team that shoots a lot of long 2-point shots, at least in real life, which is not the most efficient way to score, so they do struggle on offense, especially when Wall is not in the game. But in this game, that was not necessarily so much of a problem with them scoring on my defense, which was unfortunate. But we got Wilson Chandler in the game now, who finishes with a tough lay-in. He was one of the offseason acquisitions. He's probably our main scoring off of the bench, although Tyreke Evans came off of the bench as well in this game. And Tyreke Evans, I believe, gets his hand on the ball there, gets a nice steal, and then he would finish in transition over Ramon Sessions, who's not going to pose too much of a threat there defensively. So the first quarter, we're keeping it close. Very tight game here as Norris Cole would miss, but unfortunately, Ramon Sessions is streaking to the other side of the floor, and he would get the wide-open lay-in just as the clock goes to 0, and the Wizards are going to have a 4-point lead going into the second quarter here. But very competitive game so far. Paul Pierce gets the steal on the pass, which was supposed to go to Anthony Davis, but then Norris Cole makes up for that, and he actually gets the block on Otto Porter on the other side. I would miss the really easy shot with Covington, but luckily Davis is right there to clean up the mess, and that was just a crazy transition. Norris Cole actually did get that block on Porter, and that's, I believe, like an 8-inch height advantage. It's pretty insane seeing some point guards get chased down blocks, but if you time it right, it's very possible to do. But Paul Pierce hitting a 3 coming off the bench. He's really deteriorated because he's, I think 38 years old now. He's quite old, so he's really struggling to get playing time and all. Andre Drummond would blow the dunk there, and he was our main pickup, not off the offseason because we traded for him. We didn't sign him, of course, because he's, I believe, still on his rookie contract. It should be the 4th year, so he should be eligible for a contract extension at the end of the season, which I'm going to be more than happy to give him. So Beal would cut to the rim here, and unfortunately both my bigs are not guarding the rim, so he'd get an easy finish, and the Wizards are just killing us in the second quarter. They went up to a 12-point lead, so we're very much getting outplayed. Most of the time it's just stagnant offense. I'm still getting used to a lot of these players. It's very awkward playing with Andre Drummond at the center because he has no jump shot to speak of at all. So there's not so great spacing going on. And also with a lot of the new acquisitions like Wilson Chandler and Thomas Robinson, it just takes some getting used to. But a 3-pointer with Davis, I figured why not? We're getting slaughtered here in the second quarter. He was wide open, and he can hit those corner threes a little bit if he's wide open. It's not a terrible shot to take with him, but that's really the only time Davis can shoot threes. And we would get the nice finish here with Robert Covington in transition. We're trying to cut into this lead a little bit, and we're going to go on a run here at the end of the second quarter. You always want to go into halftime with a close game, and Drew Holiday would finish, and we're on an 11-2 run here in just like the last 2 minutes. It was very difficult to get any sort of runs going on the Wizards team because John Wall was just insane as he gets blocked there by Chris Middleton going up for the dunk. And then we would take advantage with lobbing it to Davis on the other end, and that would cap off our nice run to get back into the game. That was just a beautiful pass from Covington to Davis, and John Wall, man, this guy is just, impossible to guard. He streaks everywhere. Bradley Beal wide open for three in the corner. He would hit it. And we have 14 seconds left. We don't want to go into halftime with the Wizards all the momentum off that three. So Robert Covington would hit a three as well at the buzzer. He released it just in time, and it wasn't even reviewed, so I guess it wasn't that close. But 3-point lead at halftime for the Wizards. Decent lead, but it's been a very close game overall. And one unfortunate thing was we're only shooting 20%, and that, I believe, was 2 from 10 for 3. So I was very disappointed with that because every single three we took was wide open. And yes, I did make one of those threes with Davis, which I guess isn't terribly likely to happen because I haven't developed his three-point shot at all. But I was getting very, very frustrated this game because every single three was just, no defenders anywhere near the airspace, and most of them were still missing. So that's irritating when it happens, but it does happen sometimes, and that's why you don't want to completely rely on threes. But we have Anthony Davis and Andre Drummond for that, but we would hit a three here with Norris Cole, cut to a 2-point lead, which is the closest that it's been since, I believe, early on in the first quarter. So we're trying to tie the game up here, but John Wall just does not want that. He finishes with the and one getting fouled there, which is just insane. So I have Norris Cole trying to guard John Wall now. Maybe not the best matchup. And their backup center, I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but apparently he's pretty good. He would finish as well. He's a center that maybe I should have drafted because he has a pretty good rating. He's like 78 overall or something just as a rookie, and looks like he has a lot of potential as well. Tyreek Evans would hit a three. I was starting to get a little bit desperate because the Wizards were going on a big run, and when you get desperate, you do things like shoot threes with Tyreek Evans. But Wilson Chandler would also hit a three, so my main offense off of the bench there, probably our sixth man in Wilson Chandler. A dumb turnover by Tyreek Evans here, but he would make up for it with the chase down block on Bradley Beal. Maybe a bit of a strip as he's going up for the ball, but it still looked pretty sweet. So Tyreek Evans, maybe I should have started him because Bradley Beal went off in this game, and I'm guessing Tyreek Evans would provide slightly better defense than Robert Covington did, but that remains to be seen. I'm still not entirely convinced either of them are great defenders. But we would have a wide-open Chris Middleton in the corner, and that's why I acquired him, to play defense and knock down wide-open threes. So it's only a 6-point game going into this fourth quarter. I'm hopeful that we can maybe go on a run and get back into this lead and possibly steal a win here in Washington. But Anthony Davis guarding Bradley Beal on the perimeter, that's a bit of a scary thing, and that would lead to John Wall getting a wide-open three, and he would knock that down. He's not the best shooter in the world, but you cannot leave him open because every NBA player can shoot to some extent. John Wall in transition would finish, and all of a sudden it's an 11-point lead for the Wizards, and they have a lot of momentum. Every time John Wall entered back into the game, it seemed like the Wizards went on a big run, so I really had to do my scoring when he was on the bench and when Ramon Sessions was in the court because John Wall was just constantly attacking, which, good for him. Bradley Beal would get blocked here by, I believe, Wilson Chandler, and then Andre Drummond passes it to Covington, who would dunk in transition. Nice play there. I maybe should have just gone up with Andre Drummond, but whatever. So the Wizards get a nice rebound here, and Otto Porter is cherry picking, and he would get the dunk. Speaking of Otto Porter, he's been having an awesome playoffs. He's been really, really good. A lot of people viewed him as a draft bust, being picked number 3 overall, and he did almost nothing his rookie season, but he's been pretty good. Athletic, 6'8" player that can shoot threes and play good defense. Those types of players are very highly valued in today's NBA. And here we have Anthony Davis fouled on the and one. And we're trying to get back into this lead, but it was really just a war of attrition for the most part during this fourth quarter because every time we would get a bucket, it seemed like Beal or Wall would score as well. There was just nothing I could do to guard Beal this entire game. I tried guarding him with Tyreek Evans. I tried guarding him with Chris Middleton, and nothing worked at all. John Wall would just continuously keep scoring. Tyreek Evans would hit the three there. He was wide open, so I decided to take that. And then later on in this fourth quarter, things are just not going well. It's a 12-point lead for the Wizards, and Chris Humphries would finish with the lay-in, and it's a 14-point lead. And at this point, I had about had enough. There's just nothing I could do to stop Wall, and unfortunately, that led to a downfall, and we ended up losing 97-79. And that was the game. We only shot 41% from the field, 8 from 23 from three-point land, which is annoying to see because most of those were wide open. But the free throws were probably the main reason for our downfall. 27 free throws taken by the Wizards, only 10 taken by the Pelicans. And we were attacking the lane, just weren't getting a whole lot of calls. And that led to a lot of really easy points by the Wizards. And They end up winning this game by, I believe, 18 points. So pretty convincing win for the Wizards over apparently the #1 rated team in the game, in the New Orleans Pelicans, because we have a really, really good roster after that beautiful offseason. But John Wall had 30 points, 4 and 5, so he wasn't doing a lot of sharing the basketball around, but great in terms of scoring. And Beal had 28. So the Wizards' 2 young stars really carried the team here on their backs. Chris Humphries had 11 and 12, which is surprising. That's really good numbers for a guy who barely even gets in the game. And on our side, Davis had 21 and 11, Covington had 16, and no one else on the team did much. So anyway, disappointing game, but that's about all for this one. Hopefully we'll win the next game, and I'll see you guys then. Farewell.